Hello and welcome to the Bel-E and Scratch podcast. I am your host, Bel-E.
And I'm your co-host, Scratch.
Yeah, remember, we got the one that's actually being used and one that's for testing.
Okay.
Jesus Christ, we finally got to part 6, even though we already filmed 8 and 9.
Some of that new math. Yeah. Well.
That's actually probably true. That's probably what Common Core is all about, because I can't figure it out. I was homeschooled, and they didn't teach Common Core. What is this square stuff? Like, why are you putting the numbers right there?
Personally, I believe the foundation of that movement has been co-opted by the pencil lobbyists, all that extra square drawing, selling more pencils because of writing more. I believe the whole process is corrupt, and there needs to be a Senate investigation opened immediately into the corruption at the pencil making company level. Thank you.
Oh, well, that's a very diplomatic way of saying you wish that they died of lead poisoning.
Oh no, she's on to me. That's pretty good. I like that.
I kind of stole it from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but that's still a good joke.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, so we're finally filming episode 7 because 8 and 9 are the fifth elements, which you're gonna probably see after this episode. Basically, our schedules got weird, and we had to film this out of order. I wanted to do a Halloween episode because yes.
Sure. Yeah.
So. Yeah. Let's get the ball rolling. Now, originally I wanted to talk about the witch, and we might actually broach that subject.
Yeah.
But, you know what? I'm actually kind of curious. With the whole thing of Halloween attempting to almost be canceled this year because of their beer flu.
Yes.
And it's been a hot minute since I've gone trick-or-treating. Actually, yeah. Hey, it doesn't stop me from dressing up, but I can't get free candy.
No. Well.
So I use my adult candy to buy the discounted Halloween candy after the the holiday.
It's like a bar crawl.
Pretty much.
The day after Halloween, hitting all the stores up for discount candy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a pilgrimage for many.
Oh, I love that. So I'm actually curious. What was trick-or-treating like when you were a kid? Were you even allowed to trick-or-treat?
I was... actually, it was quite popular. Mm-hmm. And especially through the 70s. So that's when I can remember a time when everybody just went and trick-or-treated, and that was the end of it. And then somewhere in there is when hey, you got to be careful. People putting drugs in candy.
Yeah, I was actually
razor blades and apples.
Yeah, I was actually gonna.
I never met anybody that happened to. I never met anybody that had heard of someone that they knew that happened to.
Yeah, that was actually going to be my next question of when did that start? How did that start?
I don't know like exactly how. I mean,
was there like some kid out in Idaho who's like, hey, that's an apple?
No, I mean, I don't recall any visual aid. I just recall an adult, someone that was, maybe they weren't an adult. They were a lot taller than me. And I remember craning my neck looking up at them. Listening to the acid candy razor blade apple story. And so, then we got to a point where might have been just a ruse by the candy conglomerate, the candy syndicate, Mars, and
Wait, why would it be conspiracy for them for you to buy their candy?
Yeah, to buy packaged stuff.
Oh,
there was a lot of people that they made. That was their, it's like somebody bringing treats to your work or treats to family gathering or a church supper.
Yeah.
People would make these popcorn balls.
Yeah, popcorn balls, candied apples, caramel apples.
Because that's what people had. They didn't have the money to. Which they made, and that I mean, I'm not saying it's true, or I'm not saying it is true or it isn't true.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how prevalent that type of thing was. Did it happen? Possibly. Did it never happen? I don't know. Possibly.
I don't know. The razor blade.
But it kind of put a cohosh on that make stuff in your kitchen.
Which is kind of a shame because, you know, on the one hand, you know, you're not supposed to give candy, or you're not supposed to give plain apples out. And this is why you got to candy them. Actually, that might be where the razored apples might, because you can't see where they inserted it.
It might have been a national conspiracy by parents still wanting another shot at that candy basket after their kids got old enough to realize that their parents were.
Jesus. But here's the thing.
No, put that down.
My thing is that the two most common Halloween hazards, you know, the razors in the apple and the acid candy. Here's the thing. Here's the problem with both of those. Number one, with like the razors in the apple. What kind of serial killer do you have to be to actively buy and hoard just so much apples and razors and then take the meticulous time to combine them in a subtle enough way to where the kid is not going to realize it until he bites into it and hurts themselves?
And the apple is still fresh enough for you to take a shot at.
Yeah, for you to take a shot at.
Plus now you've inserted a piece of
metal,
steel.
Steel.
Yeah, that under normal circumstances may not rust, but with that extra acid in that fruit,
yeah.
I mean, there's got to be some type of reaction going on. It's definitely going to cause the fruit to denature quicker.
Yeah. Not only that, but hypothetically, if the blade does rust, you have an extra added bonus of a tetanus, which is considered poison damage in D&D.
Yeah.
So I'm just shot for that. Yeah, I'm just thinking, like, who would do that? Like, there has to be simpler ways to. I'm trying to think of a way of.
Why don't you just throw them at them?
Yeah. Seriously, just throw apples at the kids. They won't come back.
Yeah, do that.
You know, parents will see, hey, you throwing apples at my kid. They keep getting on my lawn. Okay, fine. And and then there's the other one, which is the Molly. My question is for that one is, okay, you have this really illegal, possibly hard to make, hard to come by ingredients.
Wait a minute. You mean Molly as in
the acid candy?
No, I understand that, but the acid I'm talking about is Molly considered LSD?
It's another slang term for it, I believe.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was
ecstasy?
Yeah.
You know, I'm kind of unsure. I don't even know what the difference between the two is.
I know LSD in the early stages was
psychedelic.
Well, you know, I guess.
Yeah, well,
that's all the access I had information to
at the time.
At the time, all those interesting little films in the classroom, and then there was the after school special with a chick on PCP jumping through the window. No. Stuff like that. Definitely got the worst end of it. Projected to the youth at the time, which you know.
Well, that was back then. No, my question is when you're with the acid.
How about laced candy? How about that?
Okay, laced candy. Okay,
that covers everything.
Yeah, that covers everything. Okay, you have this laced candy made with ingredients either that is incredibly illegal, hard to come by, and possibly expensive and secretive to make. Why would you just be like, oh, I have all of this illegal stuff. I must give it to the children for free. Free. That's the thing. I'm like, why would you just wantonly hand this stuff out for free?
You know.
That's not very.
It was always presented to us as in, you know,
what, they were so high they made a mistake?
No. A calculated customer search, so to speak. Why they give you free drugs to get you hooked on them. So then you'd,
but what house would the kid remember that they got the stuff from? Would they like bag it? I know this is complete. I know this is complete hypothetical, but I'm just always curious about that. Like, why would you just hand out freebies of something that is hard to come by and again the law?
I mean, if you want to, if you want to prank, well, it might be more of an embellishment, okay? Because I know you can make candy out of certain substances that won't necessarily kill you.
What, like laxatives?
Yeah.
Like chocolate lax? Choco-lax, whatever they want to call it? Well, here's the thing. I would do that.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I have a number of people I would do that to because, well, reasons.
You're going to get some kind of Ming the Merciless pleasure out of it.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that. I mean, that's more, no fun in harming people, making them uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, there's pranking and then there's punking. And
yes.
The Choco-Lax is like a prank. The LSD, PCP, ABCD, that's a punk.
Oh,
and you should be shot for that.
That's actually a crime.
Yeah, that's why I hated that show with Adam Kutcher in it.
I tried to spike a drink of mine one time with some LSD. This dude I used to work with, it was his brother, because the guy I worked with, we were friends, but he was like, hey man, brother looked at me, he's like, I was thinking about putting some of this acid in a drink. I said, brother, I'll tell you right now, don't even joke about it.
No, don't do that.
I'll put you in the hospital. You don't want to deal with that.
No, you don't.
I don't screw with anybody. You better leave me alone.
All right. Well, I guess back on the subject of old-timey Halloweening.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So aside from
okay,
bewaring and all that,
you'd always wait for the mask. That's when the mask first started coming out. The whole the cheap plastic mask that would with your brother was just your entire face would be just pouring sweat from the heat generated by your breath inside this mask. It was brutal. And we trick-or-treat with everything from the standard plastic pumpkin to pillowcases.
So that was legit.
It was legit. I can remember hitting a over where one of my relatives lived in a textile mill hill area that was, it was a good area, so to speak. Blue collar, working class mill, textile mill folk, cookie cutter houses. We just blanketed neighborhood after neighborhood after neighborhood after neighborhood, and it was like carrying a car tire full of this thing. This bag got so full of stuff, and it was so what made it
that's some early form bodybuilding right there.
Some crazy. I mean, I just couldn't believe it.
That's some weight training.
But I mean, it's just growing up in Tobacco Road towns, and then all of a sudden, bang, go trick or treating in what's considered a city. And you're running around with a pillowcase full of candy, So really.
Was anyone smart enough to bring 2 pillowcases?
I don't recall. I just remember being. I was the once again the objective third-party outside observer, because it was my cousins and their family, neighborhood friends, and pack, and I was just running with them for a while. It was quite interesting. I don't remember. It wasn't until I got a little bit older. That was middle school. By the time that I, oh, okay,
yeah,
all right, here's going.
Okay.
At the school, I told you I had the math and science, math and science teacher,
the nom teacher,
the nom teacher. Okay, all right, sweet.
All right.
Yeah.
What's with the nom teacher?
There was a tradition. I swear, I'm not making this.
Oh Jesus!
It wasn't terrible. It was just weird.
Okay.
There was a tradition at this school. This was in the back of at the middle school. This was another one of those things that you heard, and you're like, nah, and then you saw it happen. You're like, oh, wow, that's interesting.
All right.
Behind this middle school, every Halloween night.
All right.
I don't know exactly how the sides are chosen up, or exactly what the trophy was at the end of the night.
This bodes ill.
but there would be an egging war between two factions. I don't, like I said, I don't. It could have been
an egging war.
I don't know. You know, it could have been the cool kids versus the greasers. I don't know. But I do remember.
You mean to tell me in middle school
Yes.
there would be like two groups, and instead of doing something normal like kickball or dodgeball, they just throw eggs at each other?
This was more of, it wasn't just, no, it wasn't the middle school students.
What, high schoolers?
It was like high schoolers.
Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. But even still, what? Oh, Jesus.
That would meet up, and I don't know whether it was two. I mean, then I was in the highest, I was in the 6th and 7th grade, so that was in the middle school part. And the high school was miles away.
Yeah.
But I don't, like I said, I don't remember exactly what I don't remember what the beef was. I don't remember exactly the history of it.
There has to be some sort of trophy or like bragging rights, because if it happens every year.
They just talked about it like, you know, oh, hey, don't forget there's going to be the egg fight between, you know, I was like, really?
God forbid they freeze any of the eggs. It's basically the equivalent of throwing a fastball at somebody.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Or, well, I guess it'd be more like
we're some intercoastal waterway folk.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the best I can tell you. Yes, right.
Is that near farming territory? Because I guarantee those parents that raise those chicken eggs, they would just be raising cane.
There was definitely some farms in the area. I mean, a little more west.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So sorry, it just made me remember. And this isn't a Halloween story, but just another story of one of my own personal high schoolers being stupid stories. Now, I think I did tell you this, but I haven't told the listeners this story. Alright, this is one of the this isn't Halloween related, but it's a little adjacent in terms of, you know, stupid high schoolers. In my, let's see, junior, sophomore, sophomore year, had to remember. In my sophomore year at high school, I was in the English class, as you do. You can't not be in English class when you're in a North American high school.
That's correct.
Or, you know, whatever. So, he steps out for some reason. I don't remember if he needed more paper. He was going to print some stuff off. He basically left the room. And here's the thing.
The dumb high schooler.
Yeah. I'm getting to that. No. The teacher left the room.
The teacher, okay.
The teacher, the adult in the room, left. And if there is one thing you really should not do in some schools is leave a bunch of kids in the same room.
Well, you hope you can.
Hope you can, but this was not one of those days. Now, normally when this would happen, people would just break into their own little groups and cliques and just talk to each other,
sure.
Which, that's bound to happen anyway.
Sure.
Except, no, that is not all that happened.
Uh-huh.
These two dudes who I'm pretty sure at least one of them is working at like the landfill we're about to go to.
The two Utes.
One of them, two dudes, which is never a good opening to a story.
Not really.
All right, one of them, I swear to God, he was so stupid. He's probably working at like garbage disposal. I got nothing against garbage disposal, but you know who you guys are. Let's be fair. They decided, these guys decided, for some reason, they were going to take off their shirts. Wait.
Take their shirts
off on school property in front of other people.
Okay.
Grab the two staplers on the teacher's desk. Undo them, like so they're lateral. Grab the bottom end and start slinging them at each other. Trying to get body shots with these staplers.
Now, how many of them were there?
There were just two.
Two of them.
Technically three, because there was a referee.
Now, did they start out back to back and talk 20
No. No, they didn't start back-to-back and walk 20 paces. That would be the gentlemanly thing to do.
Ew.
And if these guys were gentlemen, they probably wouldn't have done it.
I'd like to shotgun this PBR quickly. Stand by.
No, these guys, these guys straight up took their shirts off, undid the staplers so that they could sling them at each other.
I'm a man.
Yeah, exactly. There was like a third guy to the side with his shirt on.
This is this century, right?
Yeah, this is this century.
You're not telling me something you read in an old
No, I was there. Dude, I was in the
the
front row, and I'm like backing up towards the door because I'm going to be like, one of these guys is going to take a stapler to the eyeball.
I'm going to get subpoenaed for this.
Yeah, I'm going to get subpoenaed for this for reals. I'm just like right up next to the door, trying to get it open because for some reason it's locked.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why is this locked? Did he lock us in? Oh, Jesus, the staplers.
They probably shut the school down.
No, they didn't shut the school down.
Really?
Two things happened. Two things happened. One, well, let me phrase it. A couple things happened. Number one, teachers comes back.
Yeah, who won?
Oddly enough, the dumb guy that should be working in garbage disposal won. Because I guess he just had a higher pain tolerance. He also got a lucky shot. The other kid...
You want to be dumb, you gotta be tough.
Yeah. Yeah, that's basically what this guy was. The other kid, the less dumb kid, he took a pretty nasty blow. Nothing vital was punctured. These guys didn't have to go to the hospital. Except, if I remember correctly, he did take a staple to the nip.
Oh.
Like, that's what I mean. He got a lucky... the dumb kid got a lucky shot.
So, were they still duking it out?
Yes!
Okay.
They were in the middle.
Please relay to me what particular profanity was uttered by the teacher when they came through the door.
Well, here's the thing. The guy that came through the door is a football coach, and I think you know who this guy is, but I ain't gonna say his name.
No worries.
Which, doesn't matter because they all look... It's like 6 guys, they all look the exact same.
Same barber.
Yeah, same barber. Exact same barber. So, he was not only a football and wrestling coach, but he was also, for some reason, an English teacher, even though he, in my opinion, really wasn't that great at teaching English. What do you expect from a meathead? I give the guy props. He picked something more advanced than PE, but, whatever. I didn't care for him. So, he didn't cuss.
Really?
Surprisingly.
Well, good for him.
I'm assuming years of...
I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying if you're ever going to pop one...
Yeah, if you're ever gonna drop an F-bomb on the clock at a school, it's gonna be when 2 dudes are duking it out with staplers.
Man, that's a get out of jail free card right there.
Yeah. Yeah, if he told... Yeah, he could have... Yeah, the principal would be like, what's this I hear about you saying this? And it's like... They were attacking each other with staplers. What did you expect me to do?
He would probably have repeated said phrase with at least 1 or 2 modifiers.
Yep.
Before he was able to address the alleged incident.
No, this teacher, he basically went into football coach mode, which I think you understand what that means.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. He stops being a so friendly teacher and goes right into the God damn it! Like in Not Another Teen Movie, that guy. Except didn't swear.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, he basically turned into the coach from Not Another Teen Movie, except none of that God damn it, and drop kicking somebody and spitting on them.
Yeah.
None of that. He just got really loud, and the guy with the least amount of damage was made to not only put his shirt back on, but to pluck out the staples by himself. Meanwhile, the less dumb kid, who, you know, he's the guy that lost because he got the staple to the nip, but still kept on going even though he was crying the whole time about it.
Oh man.
I don't know what was wrong with this guy. And here's the thing, these guys are not like small people. These are like these guys were like one of the few people who was over 6 feet, like not that much over 6 feet,
right?
Good enough,
Sure.
6 feet.
And
they were the dumb guy was kind of skinny, but the other guy, he was a bigger target. He had more meat on those bones. So that might have contributed to why the idiot, you know, felt less pain.
I'm telling you, that type of consideration never entered the mind of either one of the combatants.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. No, they didn't do any kind of stats before they got into this. They just went for it.
I'm not saying guys like that need to be expelled.
No, neither one of them got expelled. They both got suspended, but that's about it.
They definitely need to have lower expectations explained to them by the counselor, career counselor. Good grief! How do you get? I understand. Yeah. I understand how rogue. You know, rogue thoughts like a rogue wave.
Yeah.
There's ebb and flow, and then all of a sudden, bang! Something shows up, and you're like, "Where the heck did that come from?" There's a difference between that stuff crossing your head, and it happens to everybody. Going from
you mean intrusive thoughts?
Yes.
Okay.
That spark that turns into a blazing forest fire when two dudes are standing up, knucking it out with staplers, sans shirts.
So, the kid who got the nip shot, he was sent to the nurse, and I know who this nurse is.
Chip threw down the gauntlet.
You know who this nurse is.
Oh yes,
her.
I do. Yes.
So I'm thinking the whole time, you know, this is probably not the worst thing she's seen.
No.
But she's definitely going to have a lot of questions.
She'd tee off on that, I guarantee you. I'd love to fly on that wall.
Yeah. This is probably not the worst thing she's seen. She's definitely going to have a lot of questions. A lot of comments.
Definitely a lot of statements going to be made.
Oh, yeah. I honestly kind of felt bad for her because I can just imagine him, the guy that lost, walking into her office and him having to explain what happened, and she just sits back in her chair and goes,
He's got blood on him, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh. Oh man.
Now here's the thing. The Staples.
I'm gonna tell you something.
The Staples
how do you make that call?
What? I don't know.
To be the adult makes that telephone call to the parent.
Look, I'm sure she was the one that did it, Miss Nurse. She probably.
Definitely.
I can imagine her just, you know, very deadpan tone. Mrs. What's her face? Your son needs to be picked up from school. He got a staple in his nip, or you know, more medical terminology.
And unprofessional areola piercing.
Yes, very unprofessional. I need you to come pick him up. Oh, they both got ISS. Or in-school suspension, so you know the school can still collect their government-funded money.
The rent.
Yeah, the rent. Yeah, that is in the top 5 dumbest stories from my high school involving other people.
Awesome.
Now I have some stories, stupid high school stories involving me, but those don't really happen a whole lot, and they happened off the campus because I'm not that dumb.
Yeah.
But anyway, I didn't mean to sidetrack from the Halloween theme, but hey,
that was pretty good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. I don't know what to tell you.
Like a good story.
Oh yeah.
So every Halloween evening, these two factions would show up and egg it out. Now, I arrived in this particular middle school in the 5th grade, halfway through the 5th grade.
Oh, I bet that's wonderful.
The educational system halfway through the 8th grade.
Yeah.
Where I went from the middle school to the junior high, which was a part of the high. And the first year, 5th grade, obviously, I'm not getting out of the house for anything. The 6th grade night, after living there a while and learning the terrain, all that stuff like that, go hang out with a friend.
Yeah.
I went up there and watched it. And my best friend, his cousin, was one of the ringleaders of one of the...
really? Oh, God, that doesn't surprise me.
Yes, he was another one of those bullies. Just did things to set kids off. And
Yeah, this really doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a good guy, but it doesn't really surprise me based on what I've heard about him.
Oh no, the friend was good. His cousin. This was.
Wait, is this your cousin?
No.
Oh, okay, never mind.
No, this was I was living in a different place than the last story I told about somebody's cousin being a problem. This was a different place, a different friend, and a different cousin.
Okay. Oh yeah, because you moved around a lot when you were
like
younger.
One of those kids on a school bus that would spit out the window, so it would come back in a window about 2 or 3 windows back. That's what kind of kid this kid was.
Sorry. I thought you were Jesus. I thought you were talking about your cousin.
No.
I was like, I don't sounds right, but even then it's like I don't think. Okay, somebody else.
This was
somebody
was when
else's
I was
cousin.
living away from here.
Okay.
So
did you stay long enough for them to figure out what the trophy was?
No. I did. I was not. I was in an area I wasn't supposed to be in, and if I got busted over there, and then my dad found out, it would have been bad news bears.
Oh yeah.
And so no, when it broke out, me and my friend we took off. So that was the end of that one.
All right.
And then when I got to high school, I went to school with some guys that just like riding around on Halloween and just egging people who were walking down the road. Not kids.
Actual people.
Actual people.
I don't know what's worse.
I don't mean trick-or-treaters either.
Just people.
Just people. They would just drive around Halloween, and just looking for some type of adult walking down the side of the road.
Just throw stuff at them.
Just throw eggs at them.
Man, that's not cool. Here's the thing. And the whole egging people and egging houses, I never understood that because you got to pay for that.
I thought the egging houses and egging cars was a bad idea.
Yeah, toilet paper is one thing. Although, toilet paper in this day and age with the beer flu, that's something entirely different.
Oh, yeah.
And
probably get locked up for that.
Yeah, you probably get locked up for that. You got to pay a fine, too. Probably have to work 30 years in the toilet paper factory.
That's right.
So, here's the thing. The toilet paper, you can clean that up. It's very harmless, It's just, it's an actual prank. Egging is punkin'.
Yeah, egging is punkin'.
And you do punk, right to jail. Right in the jail. Like, no egging. No exploding stuff.
Stopped by the local ER, depending on who you punk. But other than that...
Yeah, that might be what caused the invention of the razor apple.
Never know.
Yeah, you never know. You just...
Probably an apple had a Chinese star in it and was getting tossed.
Oh, shuriken?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I mean, you just egg Old Man Jenkins one more time, and he's gonna make an apple, except it's designed like
Ooh, like that thing in the Phantasm.
Phantasm. Yeah. Sorry. I just realized what you're talking about. No, I was actually thinking of the what's the name of that kung fu? That kung fu movie you like, the flying guillotine.
Guillotine.
Yeah, like an apple flying guillotine.
Oh.
I was thinking that, but the Phantasm silver ball, that actually works out a little bit better.
Yeah, that thing was spooky.
Yeah. The tall man was spooky.
Yes, the whole thing was weird.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, there's a dude in a hearse right over there.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that. It's a Tuesday.
Honestly, the movie Phantasm, I liked it. It's not one of my favorite horror movies. I think it could have been tightened up with the story because it was really out there. The premise was good, but when they kind of showed the whole hand and explained once again, or not once again, this is the first time you're hearing about it, listener. I'm talking to you. Once they explained what the deal was in the movie Phantasm, which, oh, by the way, a little bit of spoilers for the movie, the first Phantasm, because I kind of stopped there. There's like 5 or 6.
Yeah, you didn't miss anything after that.
No, not really. I mean, there's been 5 or 6 Phantasms, which, that's all fine and dandy. I just watched the first one.
If you want to watch them and say just because you watched them,
that's one thing.
That's one thing.
But this was something else.
Yeah.
Basically, the movie Phantasm, oh god, it's been like 5 years. It was something about, the main character is like this little boy who either their brother died or their sister or a close relative died.
Where do they find these weirdo kids at anyway?
I don't know. At least they can act better than most of the kids they got nowadays. Or maybe you inverse it. I don't know. I guess
I can't disagree with that.
I guess it just depends on the program you're watching. So, essentially, what happens is, like, a close relative, I believe, of this young boy dies, and then the mortuary, all that fun stuff. So, except the kid and like his brother's best friend, they kind of notice that the guy that's head of the mortuary is creepy, which here's the thing: if you work in the funeral industry, you kind of have that aura about you,
absolutely,
or whatever you want to call it, that presence, because it's just the nature of death and the people who take care of it.
Yes,
not ragging on you. That's just the nature. Except in Phantasm, the tall man is what the character is referred to. He is seen actually ripping coffins out of the ground and taking the bodies out of them and then just burying an empty grave. And the boy's like, "Oh, what's going on? What's going on? What?
A ghoul.
A ghoul of some sort.
Yeah, he's a ghoul.
They go into the mortuary, they get attacked by these silver flying balls that can drill into your head and just drain your blood brains out the back because, of course.
Perfect sense.
Yeah, it's got blades on it to hook onto your face, it drills into your head, it spurts blood out, it flies because necessary. I don't know, I'm not the one that made this.
This guy's a lefty.
Yeah, this guy's a lefty. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, the reason the tall man is creepy is because he is an alien from a different dimension and he's taking the bodies of dead people to transport them back to his home planet, and they become slaves in like these little, because of the gravity on the planet, the bodies shrink in height. They basically become midgets in robes, and they become slaves on this planet, reanimated corpse slaves. And it's like, what? You had me with the dude snatching bodies and the flying silver balls that killed you.
What did Tom Cruise just say? What?
Hey,
what did he say?
Let's not get in a row with Scientology just yet. Not yet.
All right. God, but no fun.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of wondering. Just a little side note: is Phantasm canon in Scientology? Is that their devil, the tall man? Sorry. I know I said I wouldn't, but I just had to ask the question.
Who knows?
Anyway, so the premise is fine, and obviously there's all this weird stuff about some naked...
I mean, if you can make it fit, sure.
Yeah, if you can make it fit, but then it just comes right out of nowhere with the reanimated corpse slaves. It's like, what?
Man, did Ed Wood just walk in here?
Yeah, it's like, Jesus. Oof. So, yeah, I was always confused about that. You're not really missing a whole lot with Phantasm.
Well,
the guy that plays the tall man, he's awesome.
There was a slew of things coming out at that time.
A bunch of weird stuff.
Well, this killer had a machete, and this killer had a hatchet, and this killer killed people with his bare hands. This killer, and I remember
slashers.
Oh man, it was brutal. And then there was this. I remember this one movie that was absolutely, positively. Well, I've sat down to watch one day. One of the worst movies in the history of the world. It was called Truth or Dare, and I just have this image of this guy who, through a series of events, becomes a homicidal maniac.
Yeah, we're not talking about the most recent iteration.
And he's
this movie.
Like chasing people near a baseball field. And he's got like a machete in one hand and a hatchet and a chainsaw in the other hand. There's like an AK-47 hanging off of him at just the right angle. All he'd have to do is, It was so over the top, and this guy, he is playing it as hard as he can go. Being Mr. Crazy Eye, psycho guy. I mean, it got pretty. It's just like anything else. That any type of genre can run.
Slasher genre.
Yeah, slasher genre. It kind of runs. So the Phantasm thing, that was a different take on it, I think.
Oh yeah.
I think that's what the initial draw was. Plus, the word phantasm. That's a cool word.
It is also not common.
That's correct.
There's actually, let's see. I'm trying to think. In terms of,
what is that, like a poltergeist? A phantasm.
I'm not. I think it's similar.
Something.
Yeah. Actually, what made me watch Phantasm was once again another YouTuber name check. Because I like to do those, apparently. James Rolfe of, the AVGN Cinemassacre, a couple years ago, he and Mike, they sat down and they played this fighting game that was developed online by like 1 or 2 people. And it was almost taken down a couple times because it was using characters that obviously they didn't own. They didn't charge money for this game, which was probably the smart thing. This was complete freeware that they lovingly developed either by themselves or with a couple other people. This was a love letter to these horror characters. Because, personally, I am terrible at fighting games. I like the lore of Mortal Kombat.
So they took a bunch of these characters and put them all in the same...
Oh, yeah. Let me get to that. Here's the thing.
All right.
You gotta say it in the other mic.
No.
Fine. God. Here's the thing. I am not good at fighting games. I mean, I like the lore of Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, but that's about it because I cannot do any sort of that combination stuff to save my life. So, but here's the thing. Just because I'm not good at it doesn't mean I don't enjoy playing them. Not professionally, obviously, just casual.
Sure.
I think Smash Bros is the only one I'm any good at, but that's only because I keep picking Bayonetta because she's broken. I know you don't know who that person is.
Not a clue.
So what happens is this game, I think it's still available if you go looking for it. It's I believe it's called Terrordrome. It's like
Drone. With an M.
Terrordrome, I believe.
Drone?
Terrordrome. Like Thunderdome. Like Thunderdome, but terror. Terrordome. Something like that. Either Terrordrome or Terrordome. It's been a couple of years, and I think I've lost some of the files from switching computers so many times. And this game is what I always wanted. I wanted, like, a horror movie... icon checklist in a fighting game.
Cool.
Because it had Jason Voorhees, Freddy, Michael Myers, Chucky, Ash Williams from Evil Dead. It had Herbert West from The Reanimator. Yeah, I know you know that Herbert West.
And the starting lineup of the 1973 Philadelphia Flyer hockey team. Yeah, I know who that guy is.
Yeah.
An unnerving fellow.
Jeffrey Combs is awesome.
Yeah,
he deserves more credit than he deserves more credit than he ever got due because he is fantastic.
I first saw him in The Man with Two Brains by Steve Martin. Somewhere in the early 80s.
I've yet to see that.
It's worth a look.
Yeah, I know some of Steve Martin's movies some are really, really good, like The Three Amigos and Dead Man Don't Wear Plaid.
Dead Man Don't Wear Plaid.
Yes. Where he has black hair. I had no idea he had color in his hair. Bowfinger. Cheaper by the Dozen, if you like that sort of thing. Which I did. I thought it was cute.
Yeah.
Both the movies. But and then there, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels was another good one of his.
He's done a lot of work, good work.
Yeah, and then there's some stuff that really wasn't good that I've heard of. Which the one Steve Martin movie I heard that was not good at all, like no redeeming qualities, was Sergeant Bilko. And even then, I hadn't seen it. Don't know what it's about. You probably know more about it.
It's not worth the time.
Yeah, not worth the time. So if The Man with Two Brains is at least worth a look, then I can give it a shot.
It is completely off the wall, but there are some magic moments.
I think I remember what scene you're talking about. Is it the heart scene?
Yes.
Oh, Jesus.
Get that cat out of here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's worth watching at least once. I mean, it's stupid. As they were trying to transition Steve Martin, he had done The Jerk.
Yeah.
Which is in itself a milestone in that type of. I mean,
hey, these cans are defective.
You know, you wouldn't have Jim Carrey would have had a difficult time if The Jerk is a wonderful physical.
Yeah.
You know,
nothing bad against Jim Carrey, but let's be honest. He's treading a paved path, or he did tread a paved path. So
they were trying to figure out. You know, he was trying to gain some
more recognition.
He was trying to gain a better dramatic game. He could be the over the top or overact or whatever, and it took him a little bit of time to develop the ability. You saw. He transitioned through it, I believe, with
Father of the Bride, or this earlier?
No, that was a little bit later.
So he was basically he's kind of like building his actor portfolio where he could go from this insane over the top Steve Martin, to being a more serious actor.
Yeah, and a movie called All of Me that he co-starred with Lily Tomlin, which is another wonderful, very well done movie. And he, you could see him. He was still a little bit of that because. He had the ability to cut from, for one, during a conversation. Yeah. He's cutting from his male character to the female character.
Yeah.
So he was good enough a physical comedian to train his body to do some of the physical stuff that he did.
Good.
But, The Man with Two Brains is...
your first look at Jeffrey Combs.
Yes.
Yeah, considering the scene you showed me, because I hadn't seen that movie, I'm like, oh, okay, so Jeffrey Combs at least had experience acting like a deranged nut bar. Yeah. And,
my favorite scene in the movie is an exchange between Steve Martin and a little girl in his neighborhood. Very innocent exchange.
Yeah.
But you'd have to see that. You'd have to see that. But that guy, he is a disturbing fellow.
He seems to be a pretty nice guy based on what I've seen.
Good authority that he is.
What? He's what?
He's a peace outer.
80? Oh yeah, that one.
Isn't he up there?
I'm not sure. I don't like to look into people's lives like that.
I don't either.
I mean, if it's for
he's definitely not from anywhere around here.
If it's for research on a movie itself,
sure.
I might look into. Oh, this is their experience. They also did this, but to look into their deep lives, who their parents were, where they went to school, that's crossing the line for me. But hang on, trying to track back to Terrordrome. Let's see. Ash Williams, Herbert West. The game also had Candyman. That's how I found about Candyman.
The guy that plays Candyman.
Yeah. I don't remember I don't remember the actual character's name, but the black guy with the hook, the Clyde Barker.
Yeah.
It also had Pinhead from Hellraiser. That's how I found about Hellraiser. Well, it's what made me watch these movies. It's what made me watch Candyman, Hellraiser, Leatherface was on that game, Ghostface from Scream was on that game. And then it started to get into the really obscure ones, like the tall man from Phantasm. It also had Pumpkinhead from Pumpkinhead.
Yeah.
And the Maniac Cop.
Oh, good grief.
Yeah. I hadn't seen that movie, but I've heard about it.
That's old.
Yeah, that's old.
Good Lord.
Yes, this is what I'm talking about by obscure. Actually, hang on.
Imagine some crazy ass cop beefed up on steroids out of his tree.
Yeah.
Killing people in the most gruesome manner possible while wearing a blue uniform
Oh, I bet you if that movie got remade today,
his
it
biceps
would burn.
Squeezing out of the shirt sleeves. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just, Maniac Cop is, and I don't even think I saw the
Terrordrome. Yep.
The unrated. I'm pretty sure I saw the
the made for TV.
Yes, like a late night on USA, Up All Night.
Of course,
something like that.
Huh?
Way back in the day.
They remake it?
Probably.
No. Not the hell. No. Not the. Oh, this is something entirely different. I think. Sorry, I wanted to look up, did I get all the characters in Terrordrome? And I looked up Terrordrome, Reign of the Legends, and I'm like...
Did they remember James Woods?
Probably not. I just hope James Woods can remember James Woods, because he's got axed off the Twitters.
Yeah.
I like that guy. Don't agree with everything he says, but I like that guy.
I respect people that have the nads to say what's on their mind.
Yeah, I respect that dude. No, it's just, I looked up Terrordrome, and it says Terrordrome, Reign of Legends, and I was like, wait, is that what they called it? And I looked up the characters, and it's like, okay, I know Frankenstein. Who is Neverman? And it's got Van Helsing, this, all caps, dots in between the letters, Wendigo, Mr. Hyde, Cassie Hack, what? Werewolf, what? Oh god, is this...
which werewolf?
Yeah, which one? Yeah, exactly, which one?
Yeah.
There's like 50. Baba Yaga, of course, Dracula. Which Dracula? Sorry, I'm just...
John Wick.
Yeah, John Wick. And it's on Steam, and it's like, huh? Huh? Is this the same guy that made the... Is this the same guy that made the horror one? Like, did he get contracted and licensed out? Which, there's not a problem. I'm just like, huh?
Yeah.
Come on, where's the one with the slashers on it? Or was that like a tech demo?
Shoot.
Jesus.
I can't imagine. So these are all characters in one particular game.
Yes.
And you have, it's just like you have their backstory, their weaponry, their abilities.
Mm-hmm. Hang on, I'm trying to find out the one that I'm talking about. It's Terrordrome Rise. I believe it's Terrordrome Rise of the Boogeymen. It's a fan-made game. Let's see, there's a story mode. I forgot the story mode for this game.
Right.
The story mode for Terrordrome is one of the most cracked out things I've ever seen in my life.
It's cracking.
Oh yeah, this thing, the story mode of Terrordrome Rise of the Boogeymen, which is the one with the slashers in it.
Yeah.
The story mode definitely has a lot of that crackhead energy because it's basically a huge shared universe between all these horror icons, and it's like, okay, I understand how Ash with the Necronomicon Ex Mortis and Herbert West with his Cthulhian connections can make sense together.
Absolutely.
But what does Freddy Krueger and the Candyman have to do with each other?
Kitchen cutlery?
Oh, some kind of cutlery. Yeah, let's see. Ghostface, Leatherface, Michael Myers, the Tall Man. Matt Cordell. Is that the Maniac Cop?
I do not recall what
I don't remember either. Yeah, that's him. Apparently that's the character's name, Matt Cordell.
Lovely.
Let's see. The Maniac Cop, Ash, Pumpkinhead, Herbert West. Two Jason Voorhees. There's Undead and Classic. Chucky, Freddy, the Candyman, and Pinhead. Yeah, I named them all. All right.
Oh, okay. All right.
But yeah, what I mean by another reason that the story mode behind this game, and now granted it is fan-made.
There's Freddy, and then there's
Freddy.
And Diet Freddy.
And then Diet Freddy.
Jeez.
There's Leatherface, and then there's Vegan Leatherface.
He's got a salad mixing spoon. There you go.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I know it's a fan-made game, and I know it's all in good fun, but what I mean by the other half of the crackheadness of the story mode is it's all still pictures that are photoshopped together.
Is that the background?
Yeah. That's the story. It's basically these characters are, nothing's animated.
So it's like the South Park of fan-made games or something?
No. This is not even close to being the South Park of fan-made games.
Okay.
If I digged deep enough, I could find that, but I'm not going to. So, yeah. I mean, it's a good game. I liked it. It took me a while to get it to work to where I can get 2 people to play with it, and, Jesus, trying to maneuver through adding a controller support is just a headache.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, I liked it, but just because it's something I've always wanted. I always wanted a shared universe of horror.
And it was taken down.
No, it wasn't taken down.
Okay.
Here's the thing. They try to take it down because since all of these characters are owned by different studios,
sure.
They don't want, not only do they not want their own property out and about, not being, not collecting a paycheck
sure.
for them, as you do.
Right.
They also don't want any of their characters interacting with each other because, all these studios are kind of at each other's throats and they don't want to, let one have more leverage over the other.
I don't think one character has more control than the other right now.
Pretty much. But what I mean is I always wanted this shared horror universe ever since Freddy vs. Jason, and they killed it.
Oh, it was definitely
that movie wasn't good, but I loved the Freddy vs. Jason part. That was like it.
There was some tax evasion efforts going on.
Oh yeah, they did not try hard enough in my opinion.
Write off.
Mm-hmm.
Something.
Yeah, it's less of a.
Well, they do. Once again, we go back to the cost risk analysis. They make a determination how much money they think they can pull in versus how much money they put in.
Yeah.
Try to pull as big a profit as they can in the shortest amount of time, and then they just send it into free fall if they don't make those expectations. So,
Fair enough. Well, here's the thing. Kind of a fun fact about, if I remember correctly, all the details, I mean, about the Freddy vs. Jason movie. If I remember correctly, there was supposed to be a shared universe between all these studios in the horror franchise because Freddy vs. Jason had been hyped for decades, or at least a decade, because at the end of one of the Friday the 13th movies, I don't remember which one. There's like 10 of them. So,
I mean, that would be such a. I mean, think of a game. Well, yeah, it'd be kind of hard to think of a game like Big Cabin in the Woods, where you have all the participants in a contained area. Depending on the situation, is what you unleash. And then you would have them all try to fight to the death. Yeah. And then, whoever would... That's probably why they don't want to commit to it, because... Well... if it would definitely place... importance on who the overall winner would be. True. And if they were all horses owned by the same stable... Yeah. It'd be a different story. Oh, yeah.
There technically is a game like that. It's called Dead by Daylight, but I don't care for it because it's multiplayer heavily. It's heavily multiplayer, and that's just not my gig. And honestly, with Dead by Daylight, I don't disrespect it. It looks good. You're basically like there's like 2 teams. There's like the team with the kids or the teenagers. They gotta restart generators. They gotta avoid getting killed by the antagonist, who is an actual player, not an AI. Thank God. And every now and again, they'll pull in new characters to be the bad guy. Like recently, they announced, do you know Pyramid Head?
Pyramid Head
from Silent Hill 2.
I do not.
Okay. They recently pulled in Pyramid Head from Silent Hill 2 into Dead by Daylight, and I'm like, why? Can I just have another Silent Hill? Can we just do that? I just want that. I want my Silent Hills. I'm not over it.
Obviously.
Yeah. But, I'm trying to think. Oh, yeah. Back to Freddy vs. Jason. The movie... That movie was teased by, at the end of one of the Friday the 13th, there was like Jason's mask in the sand, and then Freddy's glove pops out of the sand and drags it into the dirt. And that had been about 10-ish years prior to that actual movie. So, the way the movie, Freddy vs. Jason, was supposed to go the way it was supposed to end was it was something about Freddy versus Jason. The way it's supposed to end is
one of them supposed to bleed to death.
Impossible.
Exactly.
No. What happens is they both die, quote unquote die. They both get sent to hell. And they're still fighting.
Still fighting.
They're still fighting. And then
those atrocious outfits.
And then as they're fighting in hell, something either explodes or something makes them stop. And they turn to like one corner of the room. No. And they turn to one corner of the room and they hear a very deep, gravelly voice ask them what seems to be the problem, gentlemen. And the camera pans and the person that asks them what's going on is Pinhead from Hellraiser. It was supposed to be a crossover, but they didn't let it happen. I wanted to see Tug Bradley whoop these guys. Oh, I wanted to see that crossover. And that should have been the end.
It should have been the end.
It should have been the end. And they didn't go through with it. There was plans about bringing...
No, I mean the end of the movie that you're talking about.
The end of the movie that I'm talking about, they didn't do that. They did something... They did like one of those, it's a tie things.
Oh.
Right. Where, Jason walks out of the water carrying Freddy's decapitated head, but Freddy winks at the camera because he didn't die.
Right.
It's a tie.
Right. I got you.
That's typically how those versus movies shake out, is neither one of them loses, but neither one of them wins. Because we don't want to, again, if all these horses were in the same stable, like you said, it wouldn't matter.
Nope.
Be entirely different. So... I'm just like, go, come on! I want my Nightmare on Elm Street. I want my Friday 13th. That's
probably what all this fan fiction stuff's about.
That is exactly what fan fiction is about. All the way since the age of Star Trek.
Take a deep breath now.
Spurk. Wait, is that the ship name?
Enterprise.
Spock. No. Not the Enterprise. There are things in fan fiction called ships, relationships.
Oh.
It's a short handle for it. Basically, even since the days of Star Trek, there have been fan fictions about Spock and Kirk because necessary.
Sure.
Don't ask me questions. I just got onto that fandom like a couple months ago.
Welcome.
Yeah, you should give me the welcome wagon.
Yeah.
Mister, I watched Star Trek so much I accidentally became Spock.
I don't think I did it on. I don't think it was an accident.
No.
You grab onto heroes when you're a kid. You try to.
Yeah.
When you're kind of down, you kind of grab onto anything that might help you find strength. But yeah, I mean, I had no idea.
God rest Leonard Nimoy's soul.
God rest Leonard Nimoy's soul. I had no clue when I was a kid how big it. I mean, it's when you first begin to hear about the conventions, quote unquote, the conventions.
Yeah.
People showing up, and this was a very
early form of cosplay.
Very, very early form of cosplay. It was the beginning of the Comic-Cons. Was the Star Trek, or the Trekkers, the original fans of Star Trek were called Trekkers. Trekkers.
Fascinating.
Trekkers. Fascinating.
What? I didn't know that.
That's right.
Because nowadays they're all just called Trekkies.
They're called Trekkies.
I'm actually kind of curious what happened with that name change.
That's something I don't have a slightest clue about. I just remember the original fans. They were you'd hear bits and pieces of it was very difficult to get your hands on any type of information. You'd have to get your hands on a magazine called Fangora.
This is before the internet.
Definitely before the internet. You'd see a couple hundred people. You could see it growing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, then there was always these stories about William Shatner being annoyed, William Shatner being an ass.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Who knows?
And then there was the Star Trek bloopers.
Then there was the Star Trek, what they called the gag reel, the blooper reel,
which I found on YouTube like the other week.
Yeah, it's
legit.
Was, it was a legend for
it was a legend
for a long time that it actually existed, because apparently it didn't make it to all the gatherings of the Trek fans.
Yeah. It was so secretive because it showed Leonard Nimoy smiling in costume.
Yeah.
And Spock never smiles, or well, he doesn't. There was like one time Spock smiled, but under his own influence.
Right.
Any other time that he showed emotion, it was because of something external or internal, but not him himself.
Not him himself, yeah.
There was only one time that happened.
That's right.
And when he almost choked Jim to death.
Oh, he thought he'd killed him.
Yeah, he thought he'd killed him. He almost choked a hoe.
Yeah, choked a hoe.
Hey, I think it is okay to call Captain Kirk a hoe at this point in the fandom.
Yeah. I mean, he's earned it.
Yeah, he's earned it.
Yeah.
The character earned it.
So, it was...
He was a ladies' man. I get it. He's a hoe.
It was an interesting time.
Yeah.
And you begin to see things pick up.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite shots in the gag reel was during one of the scenes, one of the shoots, and Leonard Nimoy had a sore throat, and he was sucking on a lollipop, and there's this great shot of him in character delivering a line.
Yeah.
He's got a sucker in his hand.
Yeah.
So there's this long white stem, and then there's this little piece of candy on the end of it.
like a dum-dum or something.
Yeah, like something like that, yeah. Like a dum-dum. Those types of things, it was really really great for the fans to be able to see stuff that, broke down that fictional wall.
Yeah, because people like that. I like that. I like seeing the behind the scenes of movies, like not just how they film it, but also the gag reel.
Yeah, I don't want to see them in their backyard when they're wearing a robe barbecuing something.
Nuh-uh.
I'm not into that.
No.
I'm not into paparazzi and all that stuff.
No. We don't do TMZ on this channel. Unless it's for joke reasons.
Go stalk on your own time.
Yeah, we don't do that. You
won't get it from us.
We would only do it for a gag, but that's about it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It'd have to be a really big and funny gag.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. But anything for a laugh.
Yeah. Honestly, I will say this about the new Star Trek films. They got a really good gag reel.
I thought they did.
Yeah, I thought they did a good job.
They have some strong characters in those roles. I mean, they...
Yeah. In my opinion, the new Star Trek movies, like the J.J. Abrams movies, the writing is not great, but the acting is impeccable.
Yeah.
Like
pretty neat.
Yeah, full on impeccable. They nailed everything.
I thought the chemistry between all the main characters, I thought
the
that
chemistry
was cool.
worked. People are, obviously people argue about, should have gotten someone else for Kirk, or should have gotten someone else for Spock. And like, look, no one could have filled those shoes.
Yeah, I think those work.
Chris Pine, he did fine as Kirk.
Absolutely.
Zachary Quinto, or however the hell you say his last name, he did fine as Spock.
Yes.
He was fine. Now.
And then there's
Carl Urban.
Bones.
He is best Bones, except for Forrest DeWinter, or
DeForest Kelly.
DeForest Kelly, excuse me. DeForest Kelly. He is the best Bone since DeForest.
I think he's the only Bone since DeForest, but...
No, there's been like some voice acting in video games, but that's about it.
Yeah. No,
he's bad. Yeah, Carl Urban is just...
He's so good.
He's good in The Boys, too, but I don't want to get into that.
No, that's too much.
No, way too much. We have to dedicate an entire hour and then some to The Boys. Jesus.
The Boys.
I have never been so petrified and laughing at the same time.
That was the funniest, sickest thing I ever saw.
Oh, yeah. Except it happened every 5 scenes.
Exactly.
So, oh god, we kind of got off topic for the Star Trek, but the Halloween, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Cosplay counts as costuming.
It does.
Like me personally, seeing as how the beer virus and you could like witchy. What, are you trying to write in foreign language to me?
Yes, hieroglyphics.
Oh, is that back when you were around the time when you were born?
Pretty much, yes. Gives you sand in the crack.
Yeah.
That's what a pyramid's got. Lots of sand in the cracks.
Mm-hmm. I can't not have sand in the cracks. So, I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, one thing I definitely do want to talk about when it comes to horror movies.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if I've talked about this before. I'm not talking about the whole, bad guys in horror movies are actually good guys in real life. I already talked about that. Oh, I kind of talked that to death. I want to leave it alone. I have this thing with horror movies that for some reason not a lot of people adhere to nowadays, and I don't understand why, because I'm not a filmmaker, I'm barely a screenwriter, but I understand this concept.
Hmm.
If you explain the rules, it makes the movie less scary.
Oh, absolutely.
And my favorite example of this is at least the first movie, well, definitely the first movie of the Jeepers Creepers trilogy. Because the way Jeepers Creepers goes is in the beginning, it had me going.
Well, that's how you relate to that's a mark of a, believe it or not, a mark of a good movie.
Yeah.
That's how because your audience is just as confused
as your characters.
And
it causes some relatability.
That's right. So, that character's in there scared too because they don't know why it's happening either.
Yeah, like the Blair Witch.
Blair Witch.
Yeah, the Blair Witch Project, the first one at least, is a wonderful example of don't explain everything.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, chill. I don't mean to bring back some memories for you. But what I mean with the Jeepers Creepers is in the beginning, it's like these two fraternal twins. They're driving across the country for some reason. It's been a couple years. So they're driving, they're cutting up because they're brother and sister, and they established the relationship pretty well. I thought they did. So what happens is they're driving across the country. You kind of see there's like an RV behind them as they're talking, and all of a sudden it kind of gets run off the road, like an RV, which is a big vehicle.
And all of a sudden it just takes
a hard right or hard left off the road.
Right.
Like it just gets out of the way of something, and your eyes drawn immediately to the back of the car because it's the camera's being shot from the hood looking at the driver and the passenger. So in the back view mirror or the back view window, you see this big RV just cut off the road like that. So you're going,
is this daytime, nighttime?
Oh, this is daytime. This is in the middle of the day. So you're just going, what just happened to that RV? And all of a sudden you see this blackish metal, oddly shaped car barreling up the road that drove that RV off of the highway, and it just comes barreling up between the characters' little stick shift buggy, and it just starts like pounding into them, just driving aggressively, playing bumper cars essentially with the main characters.
Yeah.
And obviously the characters are freaking out because somebody is trying to run them off the road too. So I believe, if I remember correctly, they also get off the road and they let that car pass, I believe. Yeah. And they let the car and that car just goes miles ahead of them, and the main characters are like, hey, what was all that for? It's like, typical stuff. You would do the same thing. So what ends up happening is they eventually get to this little spot in all of this flat land. They get to this wooded area where they see the van, the driver dumping some sort of object in a white cloth down this chute into the dirt. And then you see this old dilapidated church. And you see the driver. You can't really make out the driver. He's obviously wearing a long coat. And he kind of looks like the Undertaker, the wrestler, the Undertaker, but you can't see his face. It's obscured in shadow. You just see him drop something that's covered in a sheet down this little chute, and he gets up and he looks at the camera as it's panning, basically he's looking at the car as it's driving by, like staring at it. You don't see the guy's face the whole time, and the two characters obviously go, "Hey, That's the guy that almost ran it. That guy, almost caused us a crash. What did he have in the back of his truck? What did he have in that chute?
Are they curious enough to stop?
Yes.
Oh.
They go back.
Not this brother.
Yeah. They basically wait. They basically wait for the antagonist to drive off in his car. It's not of a car. It's like some sort of militarized truck, because it has a bed in the back, some sort, I believe. And they basically, investigate it, because, like, what if he's dumping bodies? And the brother stupidly goes down the chute, and he gets trapped down there.
Oh, that's even better.
And the sister is obviously freaking out. She's trying to, trying to keep sight of her idiot brother. And he's investigating. There's, like, a bunch of, apparently there's, like, these, they're not bodies per se. They're almost like shells of people lining the walls. And he finds a particular pair of people who either he knew or his parents knew back in high school that had gone missing. So he finds someone that he knows who they are. And they're in this little underground dungeon too, just as shells.
Right.
Like, he recognizes the faces. These things aren't plastered. They're just hollowed out and stuck together, along with this whole this connection of people. And they eventually, he eventually finds that he's in the basement of this dilapidated church, and he busts out, and he basically relates to his sister what he just saw, and they need to go find a phone. Little do they know, apparently the antagonist has, like, I don't know, telepathy or something, because he knew what they were doing and where where they went and what they saw. So he starts going after them. And this is like the first half of the movie, and you're just like, what is this? What is happening? Why anything? The antagonist just goes after them, chases them to a farmhouse. They get a phone call from some lady that somehow knows what's happening, but they don't explain it, which adds to the mystery at first. And then they get cornered.
So they're cornered in some strange house, and the phone rings.
Yeah, they're cornered in some strange house. The phone rings. It's either a house or a gas station.
Scare the crap out of me.
But basically, what ends up happening, long story short, is the lady that the lady that calls them is some sort of psychic. And later in the movie, all three of these characters meet in a police station where there's like the creeper is basically sieging the police station, because of course. And then the psychic lady just lays out the rules for the antagonist.
She lays out the story.
She lays out the entire story. She says she doesn't know why she knows this. She doesn't even know why she has this connection to this creature.
It's right there on page 107.
Yeah, she basically says every, 23 years, or like every 23 springs, this thing wakes up. It has to take 23 body parts in order for it to continue living. And she just lays the entire rules of the antagonist out, and it immediately kills the tension.
Now this is they're meeting face to face on this one.
Yeah, this is like in the third act, meeting face to face, the psychic lady and the two fraternal twins in a police station. This is the third act, and she just kills the tension, because it's like, oh, this is how this creature works, so I'm not afraid of it. I mean, we don't know the origins of it, but here's the thing. You don't have to know the origin of something in order to, try to ascertain how to survive it.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Sure.
So when she laid out the entire story, like the rules of the movie and the rules of the creature, it killed it. And I found myself bored as I'm waiting for the inevitable end to come.
Cat out of the bag.
Yeah, the cat's out of the bag. I'm just bored waiting for the end for for either one or both of the twins to get snatched up. Because it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
One of them.
Yeah, one of them's going to have a bad ending. And it does happen. And it's like, I sat there at the end of the movie watching the credits roll, and I'm just like, you had so much potential.
Yeah.
It was so good in the beginning.
It just kills it.
It just kills it. It got bogged down in the second act when the twins were basically playing chicken with this thing. It kind of got a little bogged down in the second act, but then it sort of picked back up a little bit towards the third act. But once that lady just laid it all out, no, it's done. You killed it.
She should have gave him like
she shouldn't have been involved at all.
She should have gave him like a little tidbit over the phone. It kind of made him wonder, and then on the way to them meeting, she gets killed.
Yeah, something.
So like give you the very suggestion of something, but you don't confirm it.
Yeah.
So it's still a cliff. It's still hanging up in the air.
Yeah,
But once she made everything concrete, then it took the
power away.
Took the viewer's imagination out of it.
Yeah,
then it just went.
It took the imagination of the viewers away. It took the power away from the Jeeper Creeper.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, why did you have to do that?
So, sometimes you look at something that's that you was like, oh man, that's a big plot hole.
It's not necessarily a plot hole.
Sometimes if you want to settle into something, you gotta let go of reality.
Yeah, you gotta let go of reality.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of movies. It's escapism.
And stop talking to the television.
Yeah.
But yeah. That's what people want. They want to be able to settle in. And sometimes you have to give up some of that. What's going to throw the bigger net? A better movie, or to an experience is an experience. Okay, I don't necessarily want to come out of a movie being a better person or being a worse person. I'm not interested in that sort of thing. I tell you what makes me a better person. What makes me a better person is the ability to get lost in something. It's like it's a meditation almost, where you can get lost as soon as the lights go down and the door closes and the movie comes on. You can get lost in that moment, if only for an hour and a half, 2 hours, that sort of thing.
Turn your brain off, at least.
Turn your brain off from all the activities and things that you're involved in. And you may have to swallow a plot hole or two to make that happen. That's okay. I can live with it.
Yeah. As long as basically a plot hole, in my opinion, is fine, it's going to happen because people ask questions and you can't cover everything.
Sure.
But in my opinion, what makes a plot hole bad enough to be, like you to just directly call it out is when it takes you out of the experience. Like that psychic lady just laying out the whole plot. She gives the rules and it's like, oh. And then my brain clicks on, it's like, wait, this is stupid.
It's an Easter egg hunt. Then you realize you got them all.
Yeah, and then you got them all, and now you're just bored. You're waiting for the timer to run out.
When you got them all, you go home.
Yeah.
Any more eggs to find? Nope. All right.
Okay.
Get in the car, kids.
All right, go home. Yeah, it just bugged me.
You gotta be careful about that sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's just don't show your whole hand.
I would imagine that sounds to me like a reshot scene.
I never thought about that. I'll have to look at. Yeah. Because they kind of sort of did that with Blade Runner. It was a little too out there, and they had to reshoot it and cut it to make it more understandable. But you
can't. I mean, you just can't turn into. You just can't turn into Dagny Taggart from Atlas Shrugged and just a monologue of what's going on and how you got here and what you're doing now and what your vision of the future is and yak. You've got to be able to present that storyline in the dialogue between the characters without one of them having to get up on stage and have a soliloquy.
Granted, Anne Rine's writing would have been a lot smoother had she stopped doing that.
She had just said, okay, I'm going to write about somebody else.
Yeah, I'm basically just gonna make a metaphor instead of having a character explain the plot. It's like, I get it, woman.
I get it. But yeah, I mean, and there are ways. I mean, you see it all the time. You see, you know, bits and pieces. That's one of the.
Yeah.
That's one of the. You know, I guess I would imagine one of the foundational elements of movie is, you know, you got to reiterate the plot or the through line throughout the film, at least till you get to the third act.
Yeah.
And you know, setting things up for the climax. Yeah, as a rule.
Essentially.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Yeah, I'm tired.
So when is Halloween around y'all?
It's like in a couple days.
Yeah.
Yeah, Halloween's in a couple days. It's actually in a couple days.
Cool. It's gonna be interesting to watch how it unfold this year in the year of the
beer flu.
Year of the beer flu.
Yeah, I keep trying to convince people in order to save Halloween, we have to construct trebuchets and throw candy at children.
You need we used to make these old what they called a potato gun to launch candy. There's like a potato bazooka and launch candy.
Candy Zuka.
Candy Zuka.
Yeah.
Launch a Twix.
Mm-hmm. Snap into a Slim Jim. Send some kid poor kid to the hospital.
Launch some Mars bars across the lawn.
Yeah, Mars bars about to send you to Mars, motherfucker. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do because most of my people most of the people that I hang out with, they're either too busy or they're spooked or they're sick, and I'm just like, you know, I tried constructing a Mad Max costume.
Yeah. And
now that you're all just like not wanting to hang out, I feel like I just wasted my time. So instead of it being, you know, instead of me being Mad Max for Halloween this year, because I thought it was appropriate, let's be fair.
Yeah.
It's the apocalypse.
The apocalypse, the desolate wasteland.
Oh, that's just the Outback. So instead of that, I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to turn it into a regular cosplay. I'm just going to get all the stuff together, just get it out of the way, make it look good, and when we eventually start having conventions again, that's when I'll wear it.
Sure.
Mad Maxine.
Mad Maxine.
Yep, dibs. If I played roller derby, that'd probably be my name too. Because it's the only thing we could think of when we were talking about it.
I don't know. We could sit down and work on it.
Oh yeah, but yeah, Mad Maxine. That's a good one.
Works for me.
Trademark. No one steal it. My idea. Dibs.
Dibs.
Dibs. All right. I have to pee, so we got to end this.
Well.
TMI, but still.
Yes.
Everybody does it. So shut up. And that's it. You got anything else to add?
I do not.
All right. Well, that's it, folks. I was your host, Bel-E.
And I was your made-for-radio co-host, Scratch.
Oh, you're fine.
Oh, yeah, I know.
And we'll see you, listeners, next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye.